Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Sori Balde. All yellow up this morning. Yellow Nation. Everybody would be like, did he join the UDP party? Oh, did he join the NPP party? No, I will be yellow today. Tomorrow I'll be ash color. And another day I will be green, representing APRC.
You should do traffic lights.
Absolutely,
Red,
yellow, green.
Yes.
So I will be, I'll be red maybe tomorrow and be green on Wednesday.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's good to go. It's a matter of disguising the people. I don't want them to know which party I belong to. Tomorrow, if I do ask color, people will be like, "Oh wow, is it NPP?" Another day, APRC, GDC.
Only in Africa do we have such nonsense.
Exactly, attributed to a party.
Yeah,
at some point, if you wear yellow in this country, they'll be like, "Hannah, you are UDP."
I get it all the time. So
you get it all the time.
Especially as I've got about 5 yellow kaftans, so I get that rubbish all the time.
So good morning, Mr. Ade.
Colors politicized.
I'm fine, thank you.
You are the co-host of this program.
I am indeed, and I think we should warn the viewers that going forward for the next few months, you'll have maybe 3 wise men occupying this platform in the mornings.
Exactly. And our newspaper review guest is no other than Mr. Momodu Mboj. Mr. Mboj, what's going on?
Wagwan, Kai.
Big things are going.
Big things are going.
Young man, don't wagwan me.
You don't know wagwan me? You know, Patois, it's a very funny language. At some point, it's similar to English. At some point, you hear some English words.
The basis is English.
English.
The main basis of it, of course, is English. And it's very similar to Creole that we speak here and the Aku.
Oh.
It's very similar. And if once you tune your ear to it, if you can speak one or understand one, pretty much 90% of it you can understand.
We have one in the Gambia
accent.
too. We call it Laki Ndongo.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure the Banjul Bond will be able to, take us through the Laki Ndongo. You understand?
Can you imagine? What's a boy telling us
Telling
about
us
Laki
about
Ndongo?
Laki Ndongo.
He cannot even speak Laki Ndongo.
You think I cannot speak Laki Ndongo? I can Laki Ndongo, man. If I want to say telephone, phone tele, phone tele, table, I'll be like, bull tail. You start with the, for table, you start with the tail and end with the bull.
Exactly.
But this one, you start with the bull and end with the tail. That's Laki Ndongo.
And Laki Ndongo, it's not quite like this creolized sort of language. It's not a Creole.
Upside down.
So it's just sort of...
Laki Ndongo.
No, really, no, not me. We were sort of like all-speaking type of guy, not hanging out too much.
Right.
So I didn't even learn Laki Ndongo, really.
Okay.
No, man. My upbringing was completely different.
Yeah, so on the program today, we'll take a look at the African code as well, then the newspaper review. We will definitely look into some of the stories here. And later, Buba Sedikan, QCell Marketing Officer, will be on this program to talk about the new QCell phone promotion. Then, STEM Woman of the Year award was awarded to one Kodu Jane.
Gone to a Gambian.
Yes, a Gambian. She would also be on the program.
We once had her here.
Yeah.
She was appeared on this morning.
That's
exactly.
Right.
So we will be engaging her on her journey, to winning this award.
Yeah.
Of course, then Usman Silla, former National Assembly member Banjul North, will be on the program, and we'll be talking about the MOU signed between, the Crab Island TVET Foundation and is it Jiangsu Maritime Institute of China?
Jiangsu.
Yes. So we've been advocating a lot of time. Let us focus on more TVET. Because TVET is the future. At some point, it will definitely help a nation that focus on it. And we've seen, the GTTI is now changed. We've also seen Crab Island. We've seen, Usman Silla busy on, seeing how best to implement a certain
I think TVET and STEM are the future, and so it's quite appropriate that we have both somebody representing STEM in Kodujen,
exactly.
and also we have Usman
Absolutely.
Sela, who's very much always been an advocate for TVET. So yes, I think that is the future.
Exactly. Mr. Adidrame, let's take a look at the African code. What does it read?
I smiled when I saw it. I smiled because of its slight incomprehension. It says, between true friends, even water drunk together is sweet enough. I think you should have just ended with the word sweet, possibly. It says, between true friends, even water drunk together is sweet enough.
Between two friends.
I have to throw it to you. Don't throw it to anybody else. I'm throwing it to you. Between true friends, even water drunk together is sweet enough.
Well, it's telling you when friendship is true, when the relationship is mutual, at some point, it is laid on a foundation that is strong to an extent, nothing can come between you. So the memories that you share, even when they are little memories, at some point, they are memories that means a lot to both of you. So, well, that's my interpretation. I don't know if I'm making right.
It's everybody can.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
Because of the simplicity of water, it's so easy, sweet enough. So I thought, are you saying that between friends, you can derive pleasure from the simplest things?
Quite.
Something like that. The simplest things.
That's right. So even water, which is,
Absolutely.
water is everywhere, but even water shared is something that they will both get pleasure from. And of course, sometimes friends can not share everything. I don't know if my former school friend Albert Kemokai is watching. But
is he your best friend?
He was when I was at school, and
we
fell out
no
because
more friends.
Well, we made up, but we fell out because we both liked the same girl. And that really tested our friendship. It really tested our friendship. But we made up. We made up. And years later, I saw somebody on Facebook with the same name, much younger person, and I thought, are you Albert Kamotai's son? And he said, yeah, that's I said, tell him I've been trying to get in touch, and lives in America now. And but we made up. Friendship can be tested.
Well,
But I think I like Mboji's interpretation that between friends, even the simplest of things can be enjoyed mutually. You can enjoy the same thing.
Maybe the problem we'll have is, what's really a friend? Do you really choose a friend? Because all the friends I've had in the past, it's not a decision that you take. Somehow you just find yourself
gravitating towards each other.
And you wonder, what is this pull? What is this magnetic pull that is really bringing you together? I think that's the mystery about friendships and stuff
and you know what is remarkable about this, what Mboji just said, the very guy I just mentioned, Albert Kamokai, he had been at another school with my cousin, a first cousin of mine, Mohammed. And Mohammed always used to talk about his best friend. I'd never seen a photograph of him. But when I went to another school, on my first day, I just saw this guy walking. And I said to him, excuse me, are you Albert Kemokai? And he said, yeah, do I know you? I said, this is weird. I said, you're not going to believe this. I said, but Ahmed Rogers is my cousin. I said, and he talks about you all the time. I said, I've never seen your photograph. I said, but I knew you'd come to this school. I said, but there are like 800 boys here. I said, but something. And he said, yeah, that is weird. And honestly, that was the day we just clicked. And we became firm friends. But as you said, sometimes you just kind of gravitate towards people. Sometimes you're at school or you're at college, and there's a whole bunch of people that you could have been friends with, but just you and somebody. Again, my good friend Sam Aintree in Ghana. That one was weird because when I went to university, every time I went around, somebody said to me, have you got a brother at this college? I'm like, no. And people were asking him the same thing. And so I walked into the
Is he
dining.
your lookalike?
Yes, I walked into the dining room, and I walked up to him. I said, "Oh, you must be the guy that everybody is saying must be." And he said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm getting the same thing. People are asking me, do I have a brother?" And again, you know, that we've been friends ever since 1975 up till now. So yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, nice. I mean, it's good to have friends. You know, a lot of them, although they are very rare nowadays, the real ones. But it's important for you to get friends. I mean, I got my friends. I mean, I have 3 friends that I think they are very close and
friends.
Genuine friends.
Right.
You know,
Right.
some are here, some are not in this country.
Right.
I don't want my other friends to feel
To
bad.
yeah,
that
so don't
they are
mention
not
the names.
closer to me.
Don't mention any names then,
Yeah,
if you
so
don't want to upset
no,
people.
I won't mention any name, but I got few that are very real and genuine, and I can console
And
them
close.
when things are hard at some point. Yeah, so friendship is something that, I mean, one needs. You need your friend at times, I mean, to share certain things as well.
And sometimes you can have friends who are also family. It's not always the case. They say you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family. But sometimes you can have a situation where there are 2 cousins of mine, both named Ahmed, and they've been my closest friends. One of them sadly died, actually died here in the Gambia. And he was here on holiday, and
Oh, he passed?
he had a heart attack in a taxi here in the Gambia, just before I came to the Gambia.
That's sad.
Yeah, but he and another Ahmed were cousins, but between us, we share stuff that we would not share with anybody else. That's how close. And the other Ahmed Sise, we actually worked in the same office as well.
Okay.
So we would go to lunch together, we would hang out together at the weekends, and like really, well, he's my cousin, but also
Your friend.
my closest friend. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
With you, I sort of envy you because you appear to be saying that you've got lots of friends.
He has 3 special
To
ones.
my mind, friendship is just so rare. You may go a whole lifetime, maybe you have 1 or 2.
You have acquaintances.
The real McCoy.
Yes,
I
you
mean,
can have
most
acquaintances.
of it acquaintances,
Yes,
you know
yeah.
each other, but what we call friendship really, the person with whom you can be silly, you can do all sorts of things. The person loves you in spite of your faults, not necessarily because of your virtues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's deep. When I think, you know, in my 50s now, how many friends have I had in my life? Maybe 1 or 2, to be quite honest.
Yeah. No, I must say I have more because
that depth, as it were.
it came home to me when I turned 60, which is almost 10 years ago now. And I thought I was going to a party somewhere else. And my fiancée said she'd cooked some jollof rice and we were taking it to drop off somewhere. Lo and behold, they had hired a hall. She'd colluded with my brothers and sisters, and there were over 200 people there. I couldn't believe it. I walked into this hall, and normally I always figure these things when people try and surprise me, but that one I did not. I mean, up to this day they think I knew and I'm pretending, but trust me, I'm going on record. I had no idea. And I walked into this hall and everybody shouted, "Surprise!"
Oh.
And there were people there that I'd known from primary school, from secondary school, from university, and I would say they are friends. You can have lots of friends. They're not my closest friends, but they were not just acquaintances. They were friends, and they'd somehow got and managed to invite them. People I hadn't seen for 10 years were there, and it was a great moment. I in fact, just yesterday actually, I was looking through the photographs and the videos from it because I just saw this folder on my computer, and I thought, oh, let me go in there and find. So yeah, and that was a lovely surprise. But there were that many people there. I mean, some of them were family. I mean, maybe more than a quarter of them were family. Because the family is large, but we're very close. So we have lots and lots of family get-togethers and family gatherings, and some of those family members are friends as well as family.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, it's not a family that we don't keep away from each other.
You can become friends with family,
Yes,
even though I like this Euripides quote that friends are the family that you choose.
Quite.
But I'm very skeptical about the choosing because of, just as we said earlier, you tend to gravitate towards that person.
Yeah.
You never sit and consciously say, oh, this one is going to be my friend.
Yeah.
In fact, you can only know after the fact,
Yeah.
expose factor.
Yeah, quite.
Then suddenly you realize that, whoa, I'm spending a
I
lot
see.
of time, and you know, we agree on things we don't, but somehow we get along.
Yeah.
We speak the same language.
Yeah, quite.
Kind of like a soulmate. It's a
Yeah,
bit like
yeah,
love,
yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
You know, with a woman, you never really decide. Somehow you just find yourself in it.
Yeah,
you
quite.
just find it. You never look for it, as it
Yeah,
were.
quite,
You
quite.
just find it.
Yeah.
It's
There are
extraordinary.
times, I mean, you conclude on certain things. I mean, like I said, I have a lot of them. But the way I narrowed it down to 3 of them, you know, I realized these are the people that I can move with. These are the people.
Go to battle for.
These are the people, I mean, these are my real G's. you
Yeah,
understand?
yeah, yeah,
So
quite.
at some point, you will know that. I mean, Mr. Mboj, when you moved with people, you will definitely realize, okay, this is the person that I can definitely, I mean, move with.
Yeah,
You know.
Well, let's put it this way. I can tell people who really piss me off, it's easier to get it to prune, as it were, the group, than to decide. Because with all the friendships I've had, really, it's just that I suddenly find myself with them. Can't remember at what point did you become friends. You see, stuff like that. You can never know. You just didn't know.
It just kind of.
People who piss me off, that's easy to just get rid of them, kick them to touch. So it's easier to get rid of than to have on the pitch, as it were.
To touch, I mean, it reminds me of Kevin Little's song, Tempted to Touch.
No, I said kicked into touch.
Tempted
to touch, please.
It's a rhyme. So we'll take a short break.
Keep your temptations to yourself.
After the break, then we'll be back.
Oh.
Looking for internet for your free videos, pictures, chats, work, and school projects? Think Free Night Browsing. QCell's Free Night Browsing lets you browse the internet for free. Oh yeah. Get a data SIM, recharge a minimum of $500 and enjoy free browsing after 24 hours from midnight to 6 a.m. every night for 30 days. QCell, Sunyubus. We innovate, others follow. It's happy time. Get 50% off all calls to any network. Enjoy calls every day to any network from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Is it too good to be true? QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Yeah, we are back. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Masuri Balde. And of course, let's move on to, I mean, some of the papers on the newspaper. We have, tidal floods, I mean, destroy Sutukoba rice fields.
Floods.
Yes, I mean, we also have the Gambia police pronounces major drop in crime and road accidents.
Yeah, I saw the press conference for that one. And they were giving the statistics, saying that, you know, we've all know about this and we've talked about this when sometimes people have a perception and, you know, people in my office get bored of me saying, but what are the facts? What are the statistics? Don't just go by the feeling. The feeling is important, but it's not everything. If people perceive that crime is on the rise, then they get scared, whether it's true or not. And so you have this, it's not unique to the Gambia. It's, you know, you have it everywhere. You know, they'll tell you, oh, you know, in England in the 70s and 80s, there was a time when people genuinely believed that every mugging in the street was done by a black person and that every black person was a mugger. Of course, we were not. But became the perception, so much so that if you walked behind usually some white woman, she would instinctively grab her bag because she thinks you're about to steal. Because, you know, and in fact, it used to be a kind of joke with me and my friends. I would say, watch what happens when I go close to this person. And then they would look at you and they'd become embarrassed because I was probably dressed in much more expensive clothes than they were, for a start. You know, but instinctively they would grab him. So sometimes, so it was good to get the statistics from the police to tell us, you know, what. And of course, they talked about how much money they've raked in, so that I sat there thinking, are they a business or are they, you know, law enforcement people? Because they were kind of bragging about how much money they've taken in and handed over to government in fines of different sorts of fines. But yeah.
Absolutely, we should be careful with perceptions, really, because we form them in all sorts of ways, but not quite borne out by the statistics.
Like when the police officers were shot on this very program, and this is program episode 476, by the way, of the This Morning program. There was a discussion here about should we now arm
our police.
Now, after over one incident, people were saying that genuinely, you saw it on social media, you saw it in the newspapers, it was everywhere, you know. And I was trying to say, let's be calm. This is shocking, it's tragic, but it's not as if police officers are getting shot every week. You know, we don't start reacting to one incident and now say, oh, all police should be armed. I mean, where are we now? You know, so yeah.
That's exactly.
Perception.
Although we have seen various attacks on police officers.
Let me just add this, then we move on.
Ones, yes.
But with saying that about perceptions, now let's move on to the other end. I listened to the Inspector General of Police, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yes, his press conference, and I think he said the fourth quarter of last year they had 63 serious crimes. We call it that. But this quarter we've got 46.
Yes.
So when I just take these two together, what does it tell me about crime? I am not sure whether I've got enough information there to see the longer term trajectory of it at all. This is just too small, as it were. There's something they call a dead cat bounce. Sometimes in a longer term decline, within I could see periods where it seems as if we're improving.
Yeah, quite.
So I do not have enough information to take what the Inspector General of Police said, that crime is going down. I'm not sure, just using fourth quarter last year, fourth quarter this year, I don't have enough information. So just as I'm skeptical of this perception, but just relying on perception, which can be brought on by my own anecdotal, as it were, experience and others.
Well,
I should be careful with statistics as well.
I would have asked the Inspector General of Police if I was part of the conference or the press conference. You know, what is the mood of you know, determining you know, the reduced crime rates in our society?
Well, no, I mean, he gave that because what people wanted to know was that, and this is always a question, is it what is reported? Rather than, because look, Gambia is notorious for this. You and I will be driving along, two guys will have a crash into their car, they just on the road.
They negotiate.
They negotiate and they go. That's never recorded anywhere. So when I hear that Gambia is number 4 for road, it was probably number 1 by a million miles, because that scenario I've just said to you is the most frequent I've seen since I've been in the Gambia, where people get over, they negotiate. It never gets recorded by anybody, because unless the police come there and it gets written up as an accident, then you don't know.
Allied your vehicle, you say, oh, it's my uncle. No, no,
exactly. You know, like even me, when I hit somebody, a taxi driver, admittedly, he had turned and stopped suddenly without indicating, and I knocked off his bumper. I offered to pay, and he refused to take my money. I was shocked. I said, no. I said, I hit you. He said, no. He said, it was my fault. I was like, huh? At Manjai by the petrol station. I was genuinely shocked. But I digress. And so you're right. We need to know what is being reported and what is being recorded. Unless that is done in a systematic and methodical way, then these statistics will always be open to challenge, because, you know, we don't know whether they're capturing the true picture. And so, of course, if we hear that it's going down, we want to see that it's going down over a longer period than quarter-to-quarter comparison.
We need that sort of thing. So because we don't want to create sort of a false sense of security.
That's right.
You're telling us one narrative that things are going down, but our experience is out there. always sort of negate
Yeah.
what you're saying.
That's right.
So we don't want them to be complacent. Then complacency will set in.
Yeah.
We don't want that with our police.
I think
at all.
vigilance has to
Vigilance.
be watchwork.
And that
Watchwork.
money bit, you are absolutely correct.
Yeah, yeah.
When he said the money they were generating and the applause.
People applauding.
I'm like,
Why
the police force is
they're
not
not
a business.
They're not a
It's not
business.
a business.
Why
It's really
people
not their
applauding?
primary function.
Well,
You want crime to go down. That's
Yeah,
the sort
you
of thing
remember
that
when
we
King-
want.
And it was the
King
thing that
was
people
here,
applauded.
King also mentioned
He
this.
mentioned the
Why are
1
we
million.
We were all
fascinated about
surprised.
the amount of money?
It's just money, money, money,
money
money,
that we
money.
receive,
They
almost 2
want
millions.
to give the impression that they're sanctioning people by fining them. But you and I know that, as I said to King Kohli when he was here, I said the number of vehicles that drive without front light, back light, any light at night tells me that you're not serious, because those vehicles should not be on the road. And if you find them, like a serious amount, they would not be on the road. You take them off, and you'd make even more millions. You'd make billions. So yeah, the money sounds big, but when you take it in context, yeah, but then that's not your job. You're not a money-making entity. You're a law enforcement entity.
Absolutely.
And especially with traffic.
Yeah,
Maybe the council should have been making money,
yeah, quite.
having perhaps traffic wardens
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
quite.
clamp.
Well,
You know
that's
how
right.
much money councils make. There's so much money one can make, but it's not necessarily for the police.
In
and stuff
England,
like
one
that.
council
It
made
should really be
26
for the
million in a
councils
year.
to make that money,
Pounds.
then they can invest in public service.
Yeah,
When we
yeah,
talk
quite.
about structuring our
Quite.
public offices at some point, this is what it leads to. I think there should be a proper structure where the council might work with the police at some point to be able to do all these things.
Because as Mborj says there, in England particularly, they've devolved it to local councils, so that the enforcement within the kind of municipal area is done by traffic wardens, not by the police, not by, but again, there's been criticism because some of them are a bit too eager to clamp people. There are places where you pay and you can stay for an hour, and then you have to drive away and you can come back. Sometimes you're 5 minutes late because your shopping, whatever, is too heavy.
And they clamp you.
And they clamp you, and people get furious. And I've been there because I did a program for the BBC where I went round for 2 weeks with these traffic wardens, and people fight them.
And you paid, okay.
And
People fight them.
You're talking to an ex-traffic warden.
There you
I
are.
was once a traffic
right.
warden in
Oh.
London, Westminster Council.
How many people have you clamped?
Nada. I mean, I was the most useless.
You've
Because I will come.
You've never clamped
And
any?
I'll just be waiting
Just
for
to
the
wait
driver
for
to
it to
come
come
back.
and
Because
and then
please
move your
move
car.
on. Because the whole idea is to get traffic moving.
Quite.
As it were, not
Because
to be
it's meant to be,
so
they're meant to be a kind of sort of,
punitive.
the punitive thing is meant to be a deterrent. But I can tell you, so for example, when I set out, the first person I went with happened to be a Sierra Leonean guy. And the people who put us together didn't even know that I was Sierra Leonean. But as soon as he started speaking, I said to him, you know Salomon? He said, yeah. So we started chatting. As we were walking along the road, there was a car, one set of tires on the pavement, the other on the
Yes,
road.
It happened.
So I just said to him, is that an offense? And he said, oh my God. He said, I didn't even notice. He said, I have to give him a ticket. So I felt really bad because I wasn't telling him so that he could give the person a ticket. I was just asking because they were blocking our way, and he said, because I was with the BBC and I was doing this program, his supervisor was about 100 meters behind us. And he said if his supervisor had come and found that he hadn't ticketed that car, he would have gotten into trouble.
Absolutely.
So I kind of saved him, but I felt bad because as a driver
You
myself,
reminded him?
as a driver myself, I'd been responsible for a driver getting
for
a
him
ticket.
So we had to memorize
Yeah,
all
yeah,
sorts
yeah,
of
yeah, got rules and
Well,
regulations.
look
So-
at the layman, someone who doesn't even know the rules of, the traffic in England.
No,
or
in England,
someone.
in England,
You
in-
cannot-
in-
you
in
cannot
England,
drive.
you
You
cannot
don't get a
drive
license.
without. You won't
You
get a
cannot
license
get the
without
license.
it.
It's
So
not like
you
here.
can't even use that as an excuse.
Okay, so
You
it
can't
will
even
take
use that as an
you
excuse.
many years to be able to.
No, you have to know it before you pass. It's part of passing your test.
Exactly. So
You
that's
know,
it. Look how different it is. How
if you fail it, you fail. No matter how good a driver you are, if you fail that bit, you failed. So they're very strict about that.
Exactly. So let's take a look at the Minister for Lands, Ahmad Bah. He said government denies deciding to reserve part of Abuko Nature Reserve. I mean, we've been talking about, you know, people have been pushing and pulling on social media and other media houses on radio that, okay, now what the government want to do is to sell off part of Abuko Nature Reserve. I mean, at some point they want to, according to what they want to do allegedly, they want to build a stadium. And I was like, wow, a stadium? Maybe a stadium can do at some point.
Yeah, and the thing is, what's interesting is that people are hypocrites, really. 99% of the people who are whinging and whining about it have never been to Abuko Nature Reserve. The nature reserve is no longer a nature reserve worthy of the name. It has been run down. It's just taking up space. It's just taking up space, and people have never advocated saying this needs to be somewhere where people can go and they can find different plants and so on and so on. It's not doing the job it was there to do anymore. So let's stop pretending and stop getting upset about it from people who've never visited. They're just hypocrites, and they're just these people who like to get on there. Ask how many of them. We asked in the office how many people had been there. Most people had no. You know, and you know, I challenged somebody online. I said, "Have you been?" And he said, "No." I said, "Well, what do you want to keep? What is it that you want to keep? Just the concept of it? Well, if we keep it, let's use it."
The Abuko Nature Reserve already depicted its purpose. I mean, at some point, you know, it's not what its purpose. I mean, what it's supposed to be. I mean, at some point, if you go, you can't see anything attractive anymore. It's just a busy.
It stopped being whatever it was meant to be.
I suspect that because of neglect.
Neglect, yeah.
When we were younger, yes, we did. We used to make
school trips.
That was
apparently
the first place where I
anymore.
saw a lion.
Yeah,
we don't have lions.
And again, somebody said that upstairs.
Said, absolutely, that's what it is. So that was because of neglect. Now it's in a state of disrepair as it is right now. So, but we know that conservation, especially given climate change and what we are suffering from right now because of that, all the deleterious effects, conservation is a good idea.
Yeah, sure.
Before we start talking about using part of that land to build a stadium, can I have a group of experts make a study?
Yeah, go ahead.
What are the pros and cons of doing this or that, instead of just jumping on the bandwagon of populists? I don't like populism either, all these populist ideas.
Yeah.
So let us be more rational in our decision making. Would it be a good idea to do so after we've got a panel of really people who know what they're talking about, panel of experts to look into it? So we should start doing things like that, I think, systematically.
And also I think we have to recognize that the world has moved on from places where animals were kept in captivity. In many countries, their zoos have closed completely. So even if it's kind of semi-captivity, where you can go and see a lion, you can go and see this, those things, they've all been closed now. So time has changed and time has moved on.
The system has changed. I mean,
the world has changed.
I mean, what I've seen, I mean, countries like South Africa, Botswana, you know, before we used to have animals in cages, but now you have the people in cages.
Or you go out on safaris and you can film.
You see them; they are free everywhere.
That's right. And but they've got the land for that. We don't. But really, I think, you know, as Mr. Mboj said, you know, you go and you see a lion. The lion is caged and so on, and people started, you know, reacting to that and rejecting it, saying this is not natural, it's not a natural habitat, let these animals free. So once that you start taking that away, then what is Abuko Nature Reserve in terms of the animals that are kept there? It's fine for children to go and see these things, but as I said, the world has changed, the world has moved on. If everybody else is closing their zoos, why are we keeping one? No matter what you call it, essentially it's a zoo.
But do you realize, zoos in the conventional sense are closing, but nature reserves are open.
They're open, there
are nature reserves. It's the same. Maybe not in the cage, but still they're confined within an area, and tourists can come all of that.
I think we can still maintain our zoos. I mean, but my problem
you
is
hardly
now,
find them anywhere now.
Now my problem is that land that we have in Abuko, I think we need to use it for something very significant as far as it should not just be there.
As Mboj says, they can do a study and see whether you can revive it. Because the shame is, if you do away with it totally, then, you know, in terms of where, for example, Kew Gardens in London, there are plants from Gambia that you can go and find in Kew Gardens, from Sierra Leone, from everywhere. And people can learn about, you know, plants from species from everywhere. We can do something similar. There are children here who will be interested in botanical stuff. They might one day want to be a botanist, you know. Or you're only going to read about it in the books, or read or watch TV. No, you should be able to go somewhere, see these plants, touch them, feel them, know what their texture is like, things like that. So we can use it for that. But, you know, if you're a country that doesn't really take education seriously, but you say you do, but you don't, then you will do away with things like that.
Everything.
You do away with things like that.
It's the vision, the policy. Why it appears as if we are just focusing, oh, they're bringing in more money, they're bringing in more money. In any other area, you don't seem to get that we have that direction, the sense of direction, you know, the vision bit. I'm not sure whether we can do the vision bit.
Sometimes
they like bringing in the money, but where are they going to spend it?
Yes.
Only God knows.
Sometimes it's a matter of being very serious. I mean, to take up your affairs as people. And, you know, these are things that we all know nature reserves are very important. But, I mean, are we actually having nature reserves?
Well, we are living in a time when we keep hearing about people planting trees for all sorts of reasons, where, you know, trees are being depleted and so on. You know, if you go to these places, if they're properly managed and properly, you know, monitored, you can grow different types of plants and actually, you know, revive. You know, for example, you could have an area where you grow different types of rice to test them and see, you know, which rice is best for the Gambian soil and so on. You know, we should not be importing a grain of rice. We should be growing our own. But where's the testing? Where is it happening here in the Gambia? Nowhere. So, you know, these things can transition from being where you kept animals to something else that's still related to nature.
Well, I think stadium, it's not a bad idea too, considering I know it will not be now, that would be for the future.
We have one that they can nice up if they
or maybe demolish and put up.
We can't even run one stadium. We can't even run one stadium. We want another one. Look at it.
You know.
Now we're not qualified.
You know. Go to Mauritania. Look at the stadium, the beautiful stadium they built with FIFA money. Go to Cabo Verde.
And
look
you know,
at the
my
beautiful
problem
stadium.
is, you see,
what have we done?
The money is always there.
Yeah.
The money is always there, but how are we going to tap into that money and build our own stadium? That's the problem.
If others can do it, I'm not sure why we can't or haven't been able to do
Maybe
it.
the criteria.
I'm still no. The criteria is the same. $11.6 million were given to all of these countries, every country. $11.6 million in 2016 by FIFA. They said use it for football-related matters. FIFA Forward, it was called. Like I said, look at the beautiful stadium they built in Mauritania. Look at the beautiful stadium they built in Praia, in Cabo Verde, with that money. What have we done with ours? Send officials on trips to workshops and seminars.
To talk about sports and...
To talk about stuff, please.
The money tend to end up in private bank accounts.
Sure, that I can't prove, but I don't see the evidence of what we've done with this. I could point to this and say this is FIFA
we have
forward.
to be serious as a people.
Yeah.
We have to take up our affairs. Look, it's not just a word of mouth, but actions, dedication, passion, sacrifice for your country. I watched FBI. You know, this weekend I was with my wife. We were watching, and I saw James. James. He is the former head of the FBI New York's office. You know, I browsed through his biography.
Okay.
You know, he was born in 1948 and he died in 2021.
Okay.
You know, I said to my wife, you see these people, you see this guy? I said, this guy worked for the American government. And this guy doesn't, after, okay, what am I going to get? He's after, okay, the people coming, how are they going to survive? That's why they moved as a country.
It's one thing. It can happen. This morning when I was coming, I heard the former head of the UN Refugee Agency talking about the war in Sudan. And the BBC reporter said it's a shame that two generals who both want to be president are prepared to destroy their country to satisfy that ambition. So yes, there are many times when people don't give a damn about their country. They just
these sort of big gestures, being patriotic, talking about the big stuff. If you really want to see the person, it's in the little things.
Yeah.
Have the right manners.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The honesty, the integrity within yourself. These little things, they will lead you to the sky.
Yeah,
as it were,
quite.
you know
Which is
I
kind
mean?
of
So
what
it's
you're
all
talking
the
about.
individual character.
Yeah, sure.
Individual integrity.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that's really what it is. When I hear people come and say, oh, I'm patriotic, oh, I want to be a role model. I hear that sometimes. I'm like, you don't decide to be a role model. just do the little things you do.
Right. And people will emulate.
People will emulate that. Just
quite.
focus on the little things.
Yeah, quite.
You'll be surprised how the little things will build up. They add up in the end, cumulatively. But when I focus on the big stuff, let's not make a mistake. The small steps you need to take, you will never take them.
Yeah.
You'll just be like Dr. Pangloss.
You know,
all talk.
Yeah, quite. You know, and you do things for show because you know that it will impress
At
people.
this point, we'll close this session here. That's the newspaper review.
Cool. Which got us all very philosophical.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mr. Momodumboy, thank you very much for staying with us throughout this session.
Mr. Ibrahim Balde, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And Mr.
You can now go and take your coffee. You take coffee without sugar. You people, what's the problem?
I know, I've been used to it
without sugar.
What's the point of having sugar in it?
50 years. For me, it spoils the coffee, spoils the taste of the
I
coffee.
don't understand how you people...
Drink it raw, you'll love it.
And we don't understand you either.
When I take it raw, the whole day I'll be irie.
You'll be irie. What is irie?
I'll be irie.
Not only that, some of our colleagues, I teased a colleague the other day, Balde, and I said, you're not making coffee. I said, you're making sugar with a bit of coffee in it.
Exactly.
Because spoons, not teaspoons, but 3 spoonfuls of sugar. I'm like, what is this?
Maybe 2 teaspoons of sugar.
3 spoonfuls.
Would be okay. Teaspoon, it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, it also depends on the size of the mug.
But nothing at all. Gentlemen, please enjoy your life. Please.
But we are.
We're loving it.
We'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll be back.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network. QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Get a QCell SIM card for free. Yes, absolutely free. Walk into any of our customer care centers and get a SIM free of charge. With a QCell SIM card, you can get the fastest and the most reliable internet plus wide range of amazing services. So rush now to any of our care centers and get a free SIM now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the QCell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. That's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunubus, we innovate, others follow.
Yes, we are back. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Asuri Balde. Now let's move to the third segment of this program. Hey guys, look, come on. There are people doing couple business in the studio. How is Mr. Ari dressed? You know, the same color with my guest.
This is kind of rust.
I mean,
And if we went upstairs, Lolly is also similarly Ashobi.
Is this a couple business here?
I
I mean, I need a yellow baby.
We'll find somebody for
Maybe
you.
Elijah can help me with that. Elijah Sabamendi, my love. All right, so we have Kodu Jeng, STEM Woman of the Year winner. And, you know, it's important. We've been advocating for it. And a lot of talks have been, you know, directed to women in STEM, you understand? And we have Kodu here, and she is a winner. Kodu, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
And just tell us, what was the situation in which you won this award? I went online and I had a very good look at the website. Yeah.
As an advocate for STEM education in the Gambia and beyond, someone sent me a link of this award.
Okay.
So I just applied randomly and sent the application.
And the competition was quite stiff.
Yeah,
Because
it
quite
was
a lot
quite.
of people.
It's within Africa.
Yeah.
So just one of those days that I received an email that I'm the winner. So I was surprised, really.
I mean, particularly as you said, somebody sent you a link and said, have a look at this, apply. And
Yeah.
so on. So when you applied, what did you actually state that you had done that actually made them give you the award?
Apart from my academic career, I included the activities we do here in the Gambia. And as Women in STEM now is across Africa, so I indicated the activities we have done over the year.
This is the WISTEM.
Yes, WISTEM. We are now established in 16 African countries.
Right.
Yeah, so I indicated all the activities we do and what we plan to do in the future.
Right.
That was all.
Yeah, so let's talk about what inspired you to pursue a career in STEM, and how did that lead you to where you are today?
As I always said, I had this brother, my elder brother, Adama. He now lives in the US. He was an engineer at Gamtel.
Okay.
So after completing my grade 12, I was used to reading. So I started reading his books, yeah, like the fiber optic manuals and the like.
Right.
So initially, when I was going to school, there was some time I wanted to be a doctor, but this engineering part always come back. So one day, and I told him that I want to study engineering. He said, "Kodo, are you sure?" I said, "Yes, this is what I want to do." And he guided me. Like most students don't have that guidance. He was there to guide me through this. Yeah.
Okay.
And so when you was it that he asked you the question, was it because many women were not going into engineering?
Because it's a male predominant
Yeah,
area.
yeah. I think that was why he asked whether I'm
right.
sure of what I want to do.
But this didn't deter you. You thought, no, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go for it. So what steps then did you take?
As I said, when I started working for Gamtel as fiber optic engineer technician, I continued reading. Like normally when they go for training, by then I was not part of those who go for training in France. So I used to read those manuals. So the manuals will guide you to what you have to do on the system, because it's a live system. You have to understand exactly what you need to do. So I continued reading and I asked a lot of questions. Everybody who knows me knows I ask questions. So when I'm not sure of anything, I will ask. And when they are going to the field too, I go with them. I force myself in and I go with them to the field. And at the end, I understand everything I was supposed to do. Yeah.
Yes, so can you share with us a project that you've worked on and, you know, you felt proud of that project?
Office or Women in STEM?
Women in STEM,
Women
anywhere.
in STEM.
Yeah,
Because,
the project I'm proud of is the STEMathon. Because this summerthon, I was able to gauge the understanding of the students. And we assigned the students at senior secondary school level to go and make some research. And after doing some research, we asked them to present, in front of a jury. So when they presented, some of them I realized they need a lot of help to come back and do something meaningful. And others, I was really proud that they came up with even a prototype of the project they have pitched. Yeah, so I was really proud of that. Another project that I was proud of is working for GAMCEL. Recently we had this project, we were increasing 50 new sites. Instead of engaging the Huawei, who provided the equipment, we did the installation for ourselves as engineers. That I am really proud of. Yeah.
So in terms of this STEM-a-thon, was this a nationwide thing, or was it mainly the Greater Banjul?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why I've asked that in a minute.
Okay. Yes, with the STEM-a-thon is within the Greater Banjul, because as we plan, we will go into the regions every year once. Every year we'll go to one region. So we are about to go to the North Bank this year. So it was just the Greater Banjul.
And how do schools get to be involved in this?
Normally what we do is we have what we call Girls in STEM chapters at schools. So with the Girls in STEM chapters, we have activities for them for the whole year. So we have Women in STEM members who will be working with those students. So we assign members to each school we have opened. So we open, I think, 12 schools now. We are established in 12 schools.
It's significant. Let's talk about mentorship. I mean, how important do you think mentorship for women in STEM? It's important, and how does it contribute to their lives?
Yeah, mentorship is important. We all know that it's very important. So what we do with WeSTEM, we have two mentorship types that we engage in. That is face-to-face. We'll invite the students, and the mentors will come and speak to them and provide career guidance. Or we have one-on-one. Like if you want to have a mentor, we'll call one professional to mentor you through. To help you through your career. So normally students request for that. If they need personal mentors, we provide them with one of the Women in STEM members. But it's very important. That's why it's one of the core areas that Women in STEM is looking at.
So over the time that you've been involved in this, what changes have you seen, particularly in terms of at schools and girls getting involved in STEM?
Like I was just saying, when this award came in, the membership increased. A lot of people came in. Their husbands were coming in to add in their wives or their daughters. So I was really impressed. We have touched on the lives of so many students, and it has really increased the membership of Women in STEM. And we are still calling out to more Women in STEM members who are not members of the association to come on and help the students, because it has really guided them. And some students, they weren't sure which area to focus on. Now they were able to know exactly, exactly, this is the area that I want to focus.
What does it mean to be named STEM Woman of the Year?
Like, it's an encouragement. Like when I received the award, I went back to my hotel room and I started thinking things that have passed. The first thing I remembered was my parents, how they struggled to take me to school. It wasn't easy for them to pay our school fees. We were 5 going to school at the same time. And that just clicked on my mind, how, especially my friend, my dad, how he struggled to help me. So he helped me to get to where I am today. So I said I need to help other people to get to where they want to be.
So the journey was very much when you went.
It clicked a lot of things on my head.
What about the moment when it was presented to you? What were your feelings there? And then if you can recall, or was it all a blur?
Yeah, I was happy. I was happy
Right.
as the only Gambian in the room.
Yeah, quite.
Yeah, we have so many African countries there,
Yeah.
and I was the only Gambian in that hall. I was happy as a Gambian, but as I said, I just remembered the difficult parts I have trailed to get there.
Sure.
Yeah,
Where was this held?
in Kenya.
Kenya.
Yeah, Kenya.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Considering the STEM, who are your role models when it comes to STEM, and
Okay.
how have they impacted your life?
My role model, I think, is here, Auntie Nene. She was one of the people I met in Gamtel when I started.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay. Then you've been there for a long time.
Yeah, for 20 years.
Oh wow,
And-
nice.
And
nice.
you mean Mrs. Ja?
Yeah, Mrs. Ja. Yeah, we have
You know,
Mrs.
For those who don't.
They call her Auntie Nene.
I know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
for
they call
the
her
viewers who don't know.
Exactly.
I
So
know.
Auntie Nene was there, Alimatu Jala was there, Oli Bite was there. So these are the only women we had at that time.
Right.
So these are the people we look up to. And Auntie Nene, alhamdulillah, she has been following up with women in STEM at every stage. She was one of the first people who called me in Kenya when I received this award. Yeah. So she has been really helpful to women in STEM. And every step that we take, she makes sure that she contributes to making sure that that works. Yeah, we're really thankful to her.
And not forgetting that brother whose books you started reading.
Yeah,
right?
Adama, yes, Adama. And unfortunately, he's now a medical doctor.
Yeah,
Oh, he moved on.
Yeah, he moved on. He's now a medical doctor.
Interesting.
Yeah, he
So-
calls me my boss. Yeah.
So how do you think the media should play its role to support women in STEM?
Yes, I normally do this publication with one of the newspapers, online newspapers. Like, as I move, any problem I think the government needs to come in, or the private sector, I will just publish that, so that the stakeholders will see that these are things that they
That
need to do.
Yeah.
Like, there was, when I visited some of the schools, I recently published that. I realized that they don't have good labs.
Right.
Yeah.
You mean IT
yeah.
labs?
Not
Or
IT.
Or just science
just
labs?
science lab.
Okay,
yeah.
right, right.
So these are the grassroots things that schools need to have.
Sure.
In the schools, I found out that they have labs is the private schools. So
Yeah.
the government schools, they need to make sure that the students have good labs, so that they can start at an early age.
And so some of the stuff that you've published, what have been some of the reactions and the responses
Yeah.
that particularly that stand out for you?
Like the response have been good. Like the government officials have been responding. The policymakers have been responding. Some of them even share the post. Like one of them was inclusion of digital literacy in primary schools.
Okay.
Yeah, I realized that went very viral, and many people were sharing that post.
Okay.
It has been good. The response has been really good.
So now that you've won this award, can we expect to see you going to schools, to the colleges, and just saying to young girls, look, this could be you?
Yeah, it's
In-
going
in-
to
in-
be a continuation
right.
of what we have been doing. So this before the end of this year, we'll be going to North Bank.
Right. Okay.
Yes, I have already established contacts with the principals. So this year we'll be going to North Bank and advocate for more involvement of women in STEM.
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to ask about community engagement. I mean,
Yeah.
to promote STEM at its initial stage. But thank you very much for coming on the program.
It's a
And
pleasure
once
to be
again,
here.
We
congratulations.
wish
Thank
you
you.
all
Thank
the
you.
best of luck, Kodu.
Thank you.
Keep moving. You know, what a man can do, a woman can do. I mean,
And Auntie Nene might be watching.
you know,
as
so
well.
Yes.
we are proud of you.
Thank
This
you.
is not only your award, but it's Gambia's award.
That's
And
true.
each and every Gambian should be proud of it.
Thank you.
Now we will be moving
Thank you.
Thank you.
from STEM to TVET. You understand? We will be
We'll
right
take a
back
break.
Can
after
I-
the
yeah,
break.
Okay.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
Do your banking the smart way with the new Bank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. Pay utility bills. Check your account balance and view mini statements. Request for ATM cards. Request for checkbooks and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Bank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Bank, your investment partner.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyapus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Looking for the perfect place to promote your product or place your advert? Look no further than QTV. We are the premier destination for businesses looking to connect with Gambian audiences and beyond. At QTV, we offer a variety of advertising solutions to suit your needs and budget. With our diverse range of programming, you can be sure that your ad will reach a broad and engaged audience. From our popular news broadcast to our exciting music and entertainment programming, QTV has something for everyone. QTV, the premier destination for advertising in the Gambia. Contact us today and let us help you reach your audience.
Yes, we are back. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Osuri Balde. Now let's move to the MOU between Crab Island TVET Foundation and Mr. Ade, you can help
Jiangsu.
Jiangsu.
Jiangsu Maritime
Is Jiangsu
Institute.
a Chinese word?
Of course, it's Jiangsu Maritime Institute
of China. They've signed an MOU,
so yes,
which is very significant.
It's significant, but before we go to that, Usman Sela, former National Assembly member for Banjul North, tell us about Crab Island TVET Center, because this has been very much your kind of passion and something that you've been pushing for a number of years, even while you were...
And you know, Crab Island used to be a junior school, sort of. Now it is transformed to a TVET center.
So yeah, so tell us about that.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Drame and Mr. Balde, for having me once again on this popular morning show, of QTV. And I'm definitely very pleased to respond to questions relating to Crab Island. You were asking about the genesis. It started whilst I was serving as a National Assembly member. I felt that there was need for an independent initiative because this was a facility that had made a name in its heydays. It was a secondary school, and I can say that it was the first purpose-built school in the Gambia during the colonial period. And that so many people passed through there, including myself, and people who are now assuming positions of responsibility, who have been assuming positions of responsibility, who the list that they are managing is families, they are managing families well. So they pass through the school. And as you know, educational institutions are places that prepare people, young people, for the future, to assume responsibilities. And this school did that very well. But at some point, it was going down, and government finally decided to close it. By the way, it was a public school run by government. So it was closed down for 5 years, and this coincided with the time when I was, campaigning for election. I passed by and saw the place. The buildings were dilapidating, vandalized, windows doors. So it was really an eyesore. In fact, some people even transform it into a garbage dump, dumping rubbish in the neighborhood, that place.
Wow.
And not only that, the irony was that it was a school that was preparing young people for the future, but it became a place that was preparing, that was destroying the people, the future of the young people. So I felt that there's need to do something about it, and I made this promise. So when I was given the mandate, I approached the authorities, the Ministry of Basic Education, to be specific, the permanent secretary, and told him about my initiative, what I want to do for Crab Island. And he readily welcomed it, and then said I have his full support, that is support of the ministry. So instead of decided to revive it, but not reviving it to continue as a secondary school that offers academic education, but to transform it into a TVET. Because not only the facility, reviving it and transforming it into something useful, but the target group that is going to benefit from it. So I was eyeing the not in education, not in employment, not in training, what they call NEET, N-E-E-T, who are out there in the streets 24/7, as the Americans call it, doing nothing, absolutely, but doing things that are harmful to themselves, their health, their environment, and society as well. So how do we rescue them? So I felt the need that TVET, those people, most of them cannot be forced to go, cannot be encouraged. No amount of encouragement can take them back to academic education. Because of their conditions. So it's better to provide an alternative. So I felt that TVET is an alternative. And then this is how it came about. I mobilized partners, individuals, institutions, government. And then this is how we started. We were able to establish the initiative. I registered a foundation called Crab Island TVET Foundation. And then I got some people who bought the idea to come and accompany me in this initiative. And we started, of course, with support from government, from MRC Holland Foundation, which did the infrastructure, refurbished the place. And then I got the Turkish International Cooperation and Coordination, TICA. I was able to also get the EU through the YEP. Then the YEP was in place. And then this is how we started offering 7 courses. Initially, that was the first cohort of 175 young people. And the success, I don't know whether it may come later, but one of the successes that we pride ourselves and we parade is that out of the enrollment, the first enrollment, 97% we have found competent. In technical education, you don't have examinations, you have assessments. And what arises out of assessment is competencies. That they are successful. So 97% we have found competent. So that's something one needs to celebrate, and then it's an achievement. So we are now in the second cohort. They are now at attachment. They have done their 6 months at the school. In fact, the approach is that 6 months at the school and 3 months industrial attachment to expose them to the world of work. So that they will be interacting with customers and then doing work to satisfy customers. So that when they are ready, when they are out, because they are going to at least either be self-employed or become employable. So even if they are self-employed, they might be able to satisfy the customers that would be giving them work to produce or work to offer services. So basically, this is where we are. Now we are on the verge of enrolling the 3rd cohort, and the process has started. We have floated the calls for application. The applications are coming, and hopefully by the first week of October we will start the interviews. And that is not done by me. I am not part of the process of selecting those who are trained there. Is the administration and the board that does that. But I'm just there using my cloud to get mobilized support for the institution and then provide strategic guidance.
So the MOU, can you tell us about the MOU?
Well, the MOU, yes, definitely is of course. With pleasure that I also report about this MOU, how it came about. Crab Island is a member of an association called the China-Africa TVET Cooperation Consortium. We became a member of this organization last year. And then we provided the profile of Crab Island. We shared it with them. So we were invited to their annual meeting that is done every year in China, Beijing. So I was invited as the chair of the foundation, and then we were told that there is one institute that is interested in working with us, and I felt the need that it's important to go with the director who is responsible for the day-to-day administration of the institution. So it's good for him to go, because we are talking about China in
Yes.
terms of technology.
Sure.
And China excels in so many things.
Absolutely.
So I
Yeah.
believe that, and we are running an institution, it's good for him to be exposed
Sure.
to how to manage institutions of that nature. Of course, not the size of this other institution
But
in China.
he will have an idea.
Have an idea.
Yeah.
So I felt that. So I made the request that I would definitely want them to invite the two of us. And of course, two institutions identified us, but we later settled with the one that was ready to support the two of us to go.
Right.
So, and that is Jiangsu Maritime Institute, which is based in Nanjing, the capital city of Jiangsu. Jiangsu is a province, just like in the United States, you say New York State, or you say Atlanta. So
Atlanta,
these are big states.
Georgia.
Yes, Georgia.
Yeah,
So Atlanta, Georgia. Yes. So these are big territories that have governments that have all that it takes, you know, to run, to administrate, to manage a territory with a population there, and that they identified us to partner with them, and we were invited. The invitation was for me to attend two conferences. First is the CAT 2024 annual conference, and the other was the China-Africa UNESCO high-level dialogue on the promotion of education and protection of culture.
Yes.
So that was the one was for the first day, the other for the second day. But these Jiangsu partners asked us to stay after the conference, so that we'll visit the campus, meet with their president, because the signing was done by myself on behalf of Crab Island, and their vice president. So we are supposed to meet with the president, and we met the president. We were taken to a campus which is bigger than Banjul in terms of size. Our capital city, imagine, with different faculties.
Sure.
And it was amazing when you see, you know, China. What you hear about China is here for real. It's just heaven on earth in terms of infrastructure. You can see all it's real engineering fit. And when we went there, we see it's real state of the art school, the equipment, the materials.
Sure.
No, you will be really impressed. So this is the institution that was
it's important for people to be exposed to those things, like you people exchanging visits like that. It will also, do the same thing for our country as well. The technology that you see there, at the end of the time, those are things that you would like to have in Crab Island as well.
Certainly, certainly, yes, exactly. I'm not promoting China, but I'm just saying that this is an opportunity for Gambia.
And that's
it's an opportunity for Crab Island, like you said, So this partnership entails, you know, exchange of technical and, you know, educational training programs.
Sure.
Of course, it's mutual, but you can see the mutual is going to be lopsided because we are expecting more from them. They are more endowed, they are more experienced, more resourced, they are more expertise. So, but it does not also rule out them benefiting from Gambia, because this is what I believe. Gambia has something that they can learn from, even in with our state of underdevelopment. You can even learn from underdevelopment. So they are going to learn from us in any case. But like I said, we're going to benefit more in terms of Crab Island being young, only 3 years old. And for your information, Jiangsu is more than 70 years old. They have more than 70 years in existence. And they are one of the leading maritime institutes in China. And by that, it means one of the leading maritime institutes in the world.
In the world, I was going to say.
And just for modesty's sake, but they're saying they are the leading in China. But for modesty's sake, you just say one of the leading. So you can imagine that Crab Island stands to benefit. And when we say Crab Island, we're talking about the Gambia. And like I said, it's going to be training programs. It's wide-ranging, but specifically maritime. Because Crab Island, in fact, it also is, you know, things happen in very interesting ways. Crab Island was planning to roll out courses on maritime. We were, of course, we were able to mobilize some people to run the course, but we were also thinking about partners who are going to help us with resources.
And then this happened.
Coincidentally, so Crab Island was so lucky that this happened very, very timely. So, and then we want to introduce this. We feel that Crab Island feels that the River Gambia is underutilized. We feel that our marine and maritime resources, marine resources, are underutilized because we are not managing it. There is no expertise to manage the vessels, the fishing trawlers, no expertise to introduce to revive river transportation.
It's one of the things I've been speaking about.
Transportation. And then government is thinking along those lines. But they are thinking along those lines. For me, this is what I have been saying. It's better to prepare people to wait for work than for work waiting for people. Look at this OIC.
infrastructure.
Yeah, quite.
It is largely non-Gambians who came and did the technical work because the expertise is not around.
Yeah, quite.
So they repatriated a lot of foreign exchange out of the country. So had it been that we train Gambians to have the skills,
the job would have been there.
So
Exactly.
it's good to prepare them. Even if there is no effort towards reviving the River Gambia, it's good for us to develop expertise around it. The personnel who are going to pilot the boats, personnel who are going to manage the machines, engineers, sailors, deckhands, to have expertise in this, so that when the time comes for a policy, for an approach of government to revive and revitalize the river by the transportation, tourism, whatever, we'll have the expertise to manage it.
Okay.
So this is how Crab Island is thinking.
Fantastic.
We are thinking
Let me take you back to Crab Island just for a second. In terms of its structure and operational, how many staff? And you talked about third cohort. So that third cohort, how many people? So first of all, how many staff actually at the center?
Well, initially we started with 175 for the first cohort, the second cohort nearly 200. The third cohort, since we're going to, with the first and second, the courses we are 7. But this time we are going to introduce more courses.
Okay.
We have about 7, excluding the maritime. Maritime we are still discussing with the technicians, the experts, as to how many courses we are going to offer, because this is also going to be niche-based. Because the stakeholders, Ports Authority is a stakeholder.
Of course.
The shipping agents, clearing agents, they are also stakeholders. There is an association called Association of Gambian Sailors, they are stakeholders. The Maritime, Gambia Maritime Dock Workers Union, they are stakeholders. Young people in senior secondary schools, grade 12, who are doing maths or want to pursue engineering as a course, they are potential stakeholders. Even young people who are dropped out. Because there are areas that they can also, develop expertise, acquire skills to work like sailors, deckhands. So we are going to discuss this to identify the courses that are fit for each of these various stakeholders. So that's going to determine the number of courses. But it can be up to 20 courses. So imagine, and for us, the minimum that we can take for a class is 25. That's the minimum. So, and we can do up to 30. So you can imagine 30 times 20. I'm just giving you roughly. So we don't know for yet, as at now, but the enrollment number is going to increase, going to swell due to the increases in courses. So
and do we have the space?
The space is there, of course.
Right.
Yes.
Which is
luckily,
why
MRC Holland Foundation came also, and
then
came with a second intervention at Crab Island, this time to construct a story building of 12 classrooms. So we have about 8 classrooms that are free. For this. Of course, not free as such, but that can accommodate all these new courses.
They are usable.
They can accommodate all the new courses that we intend to introduce.
Okay, and in terms of staff numbers at the moment?
The staff numbers, as at now, it's about 36, but it's also going to increase, given the new courses.
The number of students.
That's more than I thought, actually.
Yeah, interesting.
And Crab Island is not, like I said, I also say this, thank you for asking that, Ade. Crab Island is not only creating opportunities for young people, but it's creating jobs for family, for family heads. And there you have, all of them are married, their husbands, wives, working there.
Oh, yeah, you see?
So
I mean, it's a great thing. You know, there was a time I was discussing with my little brother at home. I said, you see, TVET, it's the future. You know, I said, okay, even if you go to your grade 12, you graduate from school, go and get something to do. I mean, at the end of the time, you might need a carpenter, you might need an electrician. At the end of the time,
everybody has their skills.
Absolutely.
We can't all be doctors, dentists, or whatever, but there might be another skill that you have, and you'll be just as productive and earn just as much money or more. Because you go to Europe or America, people who have TVET skills, they earn more than some doctors and lawyers.
Exactly. So thank you very much for coming, Honorable.
Pleasure having you.
We are out of time now, and we appreciate. We'll follow all the developments, inshallah, and we wish you all the best of luck. And thank you very much for reviving Crab Island.
Thank you very much. And thank you also very much for QTV for the accompaniment. You have been accompanying us since day one. And people are able to know about us thanks to your contribution. You also have been very much part of the publicity.
Pleasure.
Thank you. We are all in this together. It's nation building.
Of
it's
course.
our country.
Absolutely.
So
it's something that we're
coming to build it for us.
We're passionate about this, and we want it to succeed.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you. So viewers, this is all we have, Mr. Ade.
What? Already?
We'll come back here tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And enjoy the rest of our programs. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Bye.